material. So track number one we're doing?
Yeah, so I'm listening to track number one right now. Okay, this is Ali. This is Ali Faikuture,
It
and it's
is. And
yeah. What he's gonna play, he's playing with Tumani, and it's yeah. This is easy, and it's actually there's a Tumani's gonna come in now. There we go. I have to confess, I don't know many of the names of any of these tracks because most of the names are made up for copyright reasons, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So I can't even tell you what this is, although it's like, yeah, and it's on. There's In the Heart of the Moon, but I think this one's maybe off Ali and Tumani.
No,
And it's a beautiful album.
it's In the Heart of the Moon. And the track is called Kala.
Okay, yeah, they all.
Maybe talk about, I mean, I know you've studied Tumani. He's obviously one of your heroes as a kora player. These two giants from Mali, they didn't perform a lot together, I understand. And this was kind of a very special meeting that was engineered for them. They had 3 sessions, and they just played completely free. They didn't rehearse anything. They just let it flow. It's quite a story.
Yeah, this is there's a track called Ruby, um, which we play a lot in classes now. And what I did was I took Ali's part where he goes. So that's all Ali, it's all guitar, and then he comes in with the riff. And then you have the kora entering. So what I did was I combined the two together and made this part like for a solo guitar. That's the kora. That's what I've been doing with some of their duo material, which is a very different style to Tumani's normal solo guitar stuff, and a very different style to Ali's. There are few of Ali's pieces that really work as solo guitar pieces. That, although I have made solo arrangements of some of the very early guitar stuff, because he's got this great style of playing. You just have this bass line going, you know, one note and then. That works.
I love how the blindfold is inspiring an impromptu concert from you, Derek. It's fantastic. So Tumani, I believe I saw a quote that said he couldn't believe that one guitar was playing his music. He had to be convinced that it was just one instrument of what you were doing. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, that was my revenge.
That was your revenge.
That was my revenge because he made me upset for a long time. 10 years, what is this guy doing? You know, I'm talking about really one album. When I talk about Tumani, I'm talking about Kyra, the album he recorded with Lucy Duran, produced in 1988. And I also thought it was like 2 or 3 people playing when I first heard it. I didn't know what the kora was. Never heard of a kora before, and then I realized there was one guy, and then you think, how can you do this? And so it made me very insecure for a very long time. Actually, I just thought, well, I'm just messing around, wasting my time. You know, I can't do anything like this. It's like being a pianist and hearing Keith Jarrett improvise for an hour and a half. You know, and you're like, well,
Set the bar pretty high. Yeah.
screw this. So that's so then when he didn't hear my first album, One Night on Earth, but then Lucy Duran and Nick Gold, they told him about what I was doing and they explained it to him. So he knew what I was doing before, but he hadn't been interested. He thought, this guy's just like, you know, he's plagiarizing my music, because that would be the normal way to think about it, you know. But then they said, no, what he's doing is he's reinterpreting your music, and he's saying you're a composer, like a classical composer, and he's bringing it into that tradition, which is a tradition of text and interpretation. And then he got it. Then he was interested, but they didn't have the recording with him. And so it was about a year later or 6 months later when they went to London to record the record. Then Lucy played the newer album, Libraries on Fire, to him, and that's when he said that. And I was like, yeah. So after that, he emailed me and he said, you must come to Bamako. I'm organizing a festival of acoustic music. And so a few months later, I went to play at the festival, and I met him actually by mistake. It was a filmmaker called Mats who was coming from Sweden to film this meeting, because he wanted to make a record about this weird story of this guy from South Africa who'd never seen a koro, who ended up translating this music. So this was obviously the thing you had to capture on film. But because of the flights, I got in earlier than him a day before, and he said, you are not allowed to meet Tumani until I get there. So I didn't. I got together with Chris Sirin, Salif's manager, and actually, I think rightly so, went to meet Salif for the first time, because Salif was the first musician that I saw from outside of South Africa, let alone from Mali, from outside of South Africa in 1995 or 6 or something. So I went to meet him, and then Chris and I went to a dinner party afterwards, and there was Tumani. And we ended up going back to his place and playing and having this whole thing. So then I said to him, look, we have to say we've never met before, because Mats is going to kill me. So we went in for the first time the next night. And so we met for the first time twice.
Oh, that's a great story. So you obviously became friends. It was a nice meeting. Shall we go to track number 2? That was fun, right? Track number 1.
Oh wow. This is Bach, and it's a D minor prelude. Oh, I love that chord. I remember my teacher teaching that chord to me, like, it's got to be like mist.
So you like what you're hearing?
I've had so many like flashbacks today of my old teachers. It's been strange today. Like I've really.
You know who the player is? I can give you the year if that helps.
I want to say that it could be. I'm going to be possibly wrong. It could be John Williams. It could be John Williams. I think it's John Williams.
Who else could it be?
It's an early recording. I feel like it's not a recent recording. It's not Segovia.
It's 1956 is the year of the recording.
Wow, then it could be Segovia, but it's so clean.
It's not Segovia.
Not Segovia. Okay, it's not Segovia. No, it can't be Segovia, because Segovia would have been all over the place.
So the guitarist is also a very famous lutist as well.
Ah, really?
He's English.
It's not Julian Bream. Is it Julian Bream?
It's Julian Bream, yeah.
Oh my God. Julian just died. So sad.
Right, and this show, for whatever reason, there usually is an artist that has recently passed that it's nice to honor. And so, tell me your thoughts on Julian Bream. Were you a fan? Has he had an influence on you?
Julian Bream, you know, you had Segovia, and then Segovia split out into two, and you had Julian Bream and John Williams, and it was like they were two different things. You were like Julian Bream, you were into Julian Bream, or you were into John Williams. I actually started off not as a Julian Bream fan because I was very into abstract music. So I was very into music being music and not using the effects of the instrument. I found that cheap when so Julian Bream would do this thing where he'd go and then he'd do this kind of, and what I liked about John Williams is he didn't do that kind of thing. But I had a complete conversion as I grew up. And when I went actually to fetch this guitar in Bavaria, Hermann Hauser, who made it and who made Segovia's guitars and many of the guitars that Bream played, probably what he was playing in that recording, actually 56, I think he would have been playing something like a Hauser. He played me a video of Julian Bream playing the Manuel de Faye's homage to Claude Debussy. And he plays this piece, the homage. Etc. And that is, for me, hands down the best performance on a classical guitar ever. I'd lost faith in the classical guitar until I heard that. And that was his final. It was kind of his swan song. He was in his middle 70s, I think, and he'd stopped performing concerts, and he retired, and he did that, and it was just incredible. He uses the guitar in the most incredible way, like with the sounds and wrenching these beautiful sounds out of actually this old 1940s Hauser guitar, so like the grandfather of my guitar. So I feel that was like a line in the sand, I don't know if he understood it like that, but I really felt, because the guitar, it's been sanitized, and it's been academicized, and it's become this twee instrument in many ways, the classical guitar, and that was just that was like hearing Hendrix on the guitar, the classical guitar. It was just wonderful. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, this is him telling us where we need to be going. So and then that piece inspired Benjamin Britten's very famous Nocturne as well, which is a beautiful piece for guitar.
Well, I had fun listening to some John Williams, Julian Bream, and I don't listen to classical guitarists very often, so it was very nice. Like, I was doing it first thing in the morning, and I'm going to go back to that repertoire. It's beautiful. Okay, are you ready for track number 3? I think you pretty much you got that one because you knew exactly what the piece was. So as long as you guessed something about the song.
Oh wow! This is Gismonti, and this Egberto Gismonti, and this is a piece called Two Guitars, and it's an ECM recording.
Tell me about Egberto. Are you a fan? Has he influenced you? Great Brazilian guitarist, composer, keyboardist. I found a quote that he approached playing guitar like he was playing a piano. The fretboard was a piano for him.
Yeah, he actually said, he wrote to me a few days ago, and he said something really beautiful.
So you guys are friends, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I know him, and we've spent some time in Turkey together. He said, I sent him a composition that was kind of a more sort of like which is in the realm of Toru Takemitsu, the Japanese composer. So it was very different to what I normally do. He said, I was surprised by your new music, by the predominance of effects and the regularity of notes, and many more parameters that transported me to my years as a resident worker and student in Paris in the 70s. Your new playing encouraged me to talk about one of the evolutions that contemporary music has made possible for me. And then he sends me a recording of Central Guitar, one of the pieces written in Paris. After writing several compositions with a language and style that I remembered while listening to this piece, I realized that I would no longer write that type of music. I decided, because I understood that I needed to practice to have a lot more fluency in all effects. If I reached a naturalness to play, I could add in my guitar pieces the polyrhythmic folklore. In this way, the music would be richer in sounds, rhythm, and effects. And since that time that I started playing guitar with more strings, and so he started using this guitar. It's a 10-string guitar, and basically what it is a 6-string guitar that has these 4 strings on top that are a combination of bass, 2 basses and 2 high notes that are used mostly as drones with the thumb, but like rhythmic drones, and then also as counterpoints in the left hand. And Gismonti's hands down the biggest influence for me and Toumani. It was a point where they were like these 2 polarities for me. They were the 2 microphones, left and right. They couldn't be more different in many ways, but they represent 2 parts of a polarity. And before I started playing either of their music, I was influenced by their music, and I was writing music with them in mind. And then the transcription project actually started with Egberto's music, and I made an album called The Sound of Water, and that paired my compositions with his compositions, and it was much more compositions in the realm of Gismonti, what he's saying in that thing of the naturalness and using the instrument, like the resonance of the instrument, not using the kind of avant-garde type, contemporary classical effects, but really the folkloric rhythms and the instrument in this way that I explained before with the vihuela, but like expanded even further. And then through that project, realizing that I didn't have to be influenced by these musicians, I could actually play their music even if there wasn't a score, because that's the thing with Gismonti, is there's no scores of his guitar music. So I created those scores, and through that I found my way into Toumani's music from the same idea.
So it's a good pick for you then.
Yeah, great pick. Gismonti's always a great pick. He's an amazing musician. He's incredible. Yeah, and I first met him in London. Went to watch him play with Ralph Towner, double bill. It was remarkable. And I met up with him the next day, and I played a whole lot of his compositions for him, and we started a relationship there. And then I invited him to a festival I was curating in Turkey, and we spent about a week together. He was teaching and sharing his music, and he played 2 wonderful concerts, one solo piano, and the night before a guitar concert.
Wow, fantastic. My friend, I should let you get to bed. I know it's late in South Africa. I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out. It's so nice, so great to see you and to catch up and to listen to some music together.
Yeah.
If you can, send me a couple of videos of you playing. It'd be lovely to include it in the show.
Well, thank you, Fiona. Thank you for. I'm going to go listen to 1950s Bream recordings now.
Oh, that's great. Take care. Keep in touch.
that's a piece by the great Tumani Diabate. It's called Tubaka. This is Jarabi.